Greetings, everyone. I'm back to wearing this outfit. I'm here to talk about the movie, what you already know the title of it, The Swan Princess. I've been waiting forever to finally review this movie. Now on a VHS tape on Blu-ray. Let me show it to you again, for like a few seconds. This is what the cover looks like. You know, it says 25th anniversary. This was released in 2019. But it's already gotten older since 1994. The basic story is based on the story The Swan Lake, aka The Swan Princess, is made by the Nest Entertainment, a rich film, created by none other than Jarnett Brown and Shavin Young, and they're best known as the heroes Bible stories since the mid-90s. I had to look it up on here. You know, they left off Disney project from 1985. They kind of started doing this movie since 1992. So it's a basic story about a beautiful princess who turns into a swan. And here's the basic title, The Swan Princess. This movie does have basic reference. It's of Disney, of Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, and so on and so forth. To make a long story short, the story is about the Princess Odette, who will marry the young prince, Derek. That someday they will be married and become husband and wife. But not all becomes a happy place in the wonderful kingdom. So there's this main villain named Lothbar that uses his magic powers to train evil, while he has a henchman named only banish him for a sentence. I'm hoping this won't bite him from behind later. This is where it gets a little bit interesting that the Princess Odette meets Derek as them being grown-up little kids. In a perfect awkward position. This might take a long time when they get used to each other. Not to mention this movie has lots of songs in it. Not to mention it'll take some time to get them to know each other pretty well. They become really not connected to each other when they're kids. So once they grow up, I hope they really have a love connection. And not to mention, Derek has a sidekick. Who is basically Gaston's little henchman. And they're all grown up, and they really have to see eye to eye for each other. Love at first sight. this movie's credit does have some good animation quality. I used to watch this a lot more as a kid. This is a pretty unique ability film of all time. Believe me, it does take a while getting used to their characteristically, what's the word for it? Unique ability of them being in love already. Until this happens. Bummer. And they try their best. They almost got the love connection. And trying to find their way to fall in love. Meanwhile, the main villain, Bob Bart, yes, that's his name, and finds not only Eldit, but the great King Richard himself. While he uses his evil magic powers, yeah, King William, once guard showed up and warned that Eldit's been captured. Even the poor king, in final dying words, thinking about the princess, his daughter. Yep, that's tragic, isn't it? That he'll find Eldit, no matter how long it takes. And here's like the best quality of the animation. When the moon comes out, she is back to him at nighttime. It does have like a few problems with this movie. If he's so powerful, he could just easily rule the kingdom on his own, but that he just tells Eldit, and the next day, and once the moon is gone, she won't have enough strength and left. Anyways, we cut to this next scene called Practice, where our main hero, Derek, and his best friend, oh yeah, and Roger is the best character in this movie, because he's brilliant, he's smart, he's clever, not to mention better than Braun, and have these instrument characters, which we only see these characters once and never again, and dress up as animals. Alright, that's funny. That made me laugh. It does have like a bit of comedy humor in it. That's why this came out 20 years ago. It still has some great humor. Or Derek does his target practice pretty well. On the guys in her outfit. It's just them practicing with our targets. Not to mention, Braun is kind of a cheater. And got one more practice. Let's aim. And target practice. This was an apple. Him wearing armor suit. And it is possible to aim at the target right to the apple's mind head and armor and to catch the arrow as much as possible. Impressive aiming skills. Anyways, let's cut to the chase. Oh yeah, I think I mentioned John Cleese plays as John Bob the Frog that he needs to be kissed by a princess and becomes a handsome prince. And Speedy is voiced by none other than, yes, Stephen Wright. You're hearing that right, you're actually hearing Stephen Wright voicing the turtle. I don't know if it's an obvious choice for his character, on the way he moves very slowly as a turtle. And like every movie cliche that you've seen before, have a human girl talk to animals. All that's the main sidekick. And alligators trying to eat them. Yep, all we can hear is John Cleese talking to be the comedy relief of the story. But Old Dead is really in love with Prince Derek, and that's pretty much the entire movie. It's just our two main characters are kind of, okay, I guess. They can relate to basically Prince Philip and Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. They're just pretty much the romantic couple. Oh, it does have some great terrific scenes with the entire background looking impressively good. Nice songs and most likely impressive characteristics. Anyhow, they also get introduced by another character who thinks that he's dead. It's Puffin. Then Puffin Bird. Who's Irish for some reason. Because we had to have not one, not two, but three interesting comedy relief animals to be entertained for those kiddies. And like a cover voiced by Sandy. Oh, wrong character. Does have some famous voice actors of Sandy Duncan, most likely Jack and Prince Robert shows up again that wants to make sure he wants to take over her father's kingdom at once. We cut to basically Derek's grandmother start bringing the princess on parade things. Well, Prince Derek is trying to find the great animal and figures out it's not what it seems, and he won't show up on the party. And we cut to the Swan Lake where they're at. I even tried to find that map to find their way out. And playing that song No Fear, which I won't play, other it will be copyrighted. And we get like a bit of comedy relief of them trying to find the map. While Princess all day distracts Bart's hench lady. And we get like this wacky, insane chase scene, which is downright hilarious in most parts. and alligators trying to eat them. So Prince Derek tells his best buddy there, it's not what it seems. Hints of what type of creature it will be. It will be any type of animal, and it transforms into a hideous beast, or what they call a great animal. Anyhow, they found the map and get out of Swan Lake before it's too late to warn Prince Derek and that she is cursed. Cursed as a swan. Prince Derek is brave and strong, while his friend is kind of a wimpy coward. Trying to aim for a mouse. Observe. Yeah, total wuss. Anyhow, Prince Derek was about to aim at the swan. I think it's a great animal. Wow, this is darker than I remember watching it. Anyhow, they get out there in time of being chased by him. Yes, he is. Gonna use the light to make him blind. Unfortunately, the sun goes down. Apparently, he can freaking teleport. Anyhow, I'll be make it back to the Swan Lake before it's too late. Prince David is about to kill his future wife. Right there. Right before the moon sets. The moon was blocked by the clouds. But luckily, he puffed and distracts Prince Derek and realized it was her the whole time and almost killed her in the progress. But the relationship cut short, or that the horrible law part returns, and he tells Eric that someday they'll meet again and try to discover who was there. And he finds an arrow bow, and once the moon is gone, she won't live another day. And he found an evil plan. A horrible, evil, wicked plan. Like the Grinch smile like this. He changes his henchman to disguise her as the Princess Odette. And we get to the best song I love from this film, No More Mr. Nice Guy. He is the best part. And I really like the song, but I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'll be get ready for the Princesses on Parade, which is another song, which I will not play, while keeping Odette a prisoner and the friend there. I got lost in the woods. And so lots of different princesses at the gallery and random different outfits looking beautiful as possible and become Prince Derek's new wife. And I gotta say, it looks like the best part of the film. However, it doesn't last long. On that love part, hinting that disguises herself as Odette, and somehow Queen doesn't recognize her that she can remember it's Odette. Maybe it's the black outfit she wears. That he would fall in love for Odette. While our other heroes, Puffin, speed to strike the alligators as much as possible to save Princess Odette being a prisoner. And make her freedom. But it was too late. He found everlasting love to the wrong woman. And while Bart looks like he won, she tries to go back to Swan Lake, but it was too late. Princess Odette did not make it in the water in time. It was so sad that he didn't make it in time. He charges at Bart and then tells him to change her back. Use the magic powers. And Bart shows his true master form. I've never seen that when I was younger. I was dramatized for life on how he turns into that a great animal. And I gotta admit, it's terrifying. It's like the most good file scene. And so this scene right here. That's like the most scariest, evil, grin smile of all time. You don't see that in much animated 2D films anymore. Look at that smile. That's like the most terrifying, evilest smile we ever seen. But luckily, Prince Derek, well, not really, was getting badly beaten up by the green animal. John Bob and Steve come to the rescue to give him the bow and arrow quickly as possible. While his friend and gets him the arrow just in time before it was too late and finishes off Rothbard once and for all and defeats him. But what was the cost? Let's bring her back to life. Oops. And it was the power of love that brings her back. And so they get married and live happily ever after. And not to mention, John Bob gets a kiss, but he's still a frog. Uncle is mistaken to be as a prince. Anyhow, that was the Swan Princess. My thoughts about this movie? It's impressively good. It has some great quality animation, wonderful voice actors. Not to mention its impressive art style, all from 1994. And not to mention there's like tons of sequels, which I am so not gonna do at all. Well, probably maybe 2 and 3. The rest of them, nope. I would say this film is impressively, the word for it, passable. It's considerably, a word for it, gorgeous. It's passable. It has a simple story of everlasting love, like you heard a million times in most movies, even since the very beginning of 1950s. I mean, in this film is done the same creator that did the other Disney classic movies centuries ago, but one is done by a different company that and it's on the perfect mid-90s NES Entertainment, but you best know them from other classic animated films, or most likely other films. You might know them pretty well for this one, being the word for it creatively, two words, terrifically impressive. So I give like the Swan Princess a solid 7 out of 10 of its quality animation. That the story is supposed to be based off Swan Lake, that's been done centuries ago. A little bit ballet-ness isn't most likely impressive of creators that did the Bible stories. These a long time ago, before this movie was released in 1994, or those ones. So I find this one passably, including the words for it, and mildly imaginative. So is this movie worth it? If you're a huge fan of The Swan Princess, you'll enjoy this one than the other sequel movies that came out centuries ago. So glad you enjoyed my long review of this movie. See you guys around.